Today's guest is known as the Detroit Barbie. You may know her from the Florida independent wrestling scene or the cameos she has made on AEW. Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Marina Tucker. So thank you for taking the time to do my podcast. It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, nice to finally meet you. Thank you.
Yeah. So you live in Florida?
Yes, I do.
Where are you? In Tampa?
Yep, I'm in Tampa.
Okay.
I love it.
Do you love it?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
So I've been in Florida now, holy cow, almost 5 years.
Okay.
For 3 of those years, I did live in Orlando.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I did really like it. I lived right next to SeaWorld.
Oh, cool.
And I'm like a theme park freak. So I went like every humanly possible minute to a theme park I could. And, but it got so expensive. Holy cow. And, just had a ton of friends at the moment that were living in downtown Tampa, and it seemed more of like a younger, like fun vibe. And instead of just like being with tourists, literally 24/7, it was impossible to make friends because like everyone's like, yeah, we're in town for a week. I'm like, okay, I live here. So yeah, no, Tampa is so nice.
I lived in Tampa for a year. Deep South moved to Tampa originally before they moved to Orlando. And I like Tampa a lot. I like St. Petersburg better.
Less tourists there too.
Less tourists. I'd rather be closer to the water, more chill. But the one thing about Florida that blows my mind is how you can literally, go a block this way and you're in multi-million-dollar homes, and you go a block this way and you're in a trailer park. It's like,
oh yeah.
How the dichotomy of the classes, that's mind-blowing.
Honestly, right now, with everybody trying to move here, like to escape like the New England area or whatever during the pandemic, I've talked to people, like real estate agents I know and stuff, and people say people are straight up paying like full cash for houses right now just to try to move to Florida. Wow. So the market around here right now is like, if you're a real estate agent, you're having a fun time.
Right.
But it's a lot.
You chose well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're from Detroit originally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Detroit girl. Pride. There's a lot of pride I see in that.
110%. Yeah, I grew up in a town 6 miles south of Detroit, 8 miles from the bridge to Canada.
Oh, wow.
So we're like border sisters. Like,
we're the
in a
same.
Way.
Yeah.
Like that weird connection. We have it,
Yep.
And both my parents are Detroit police officers.
Get out.
So I was raised in a very tough family, but I was very proud of the fact that, they chose that as their career. And my mom is a legit badass. So she is definitely one of the reasons why I think I'm the way I am today. But, I grew up there. I went to college on the west side of Michigan, which, for people that don't know, looks completely opposite than Detroit.
And that's the thing about Detroit. People just assume it's all 8 Mile. It's all dilapidated. And that is simply, it's like Florida. There's beautiful neighborhoods, and then there's the hood.
That's right. Yeah. My grandma grew up on the opposite side of 8 Mile. So when everyone thinks 8 Mile, they think, in downtown. Yeah. But if you take 8 Mile all the way north, it's in a whole different area. And that's actually where my grandma grew up. So I've been on 8 Mile a lot in my life. And the whole other side of the state, in fact, literally looks like, that's why they shoot all the commercials, like, come visit our state. This side, know. They shoot all those pure Michigan commercials. That's where I went to college, on the west side. So I got to see all the beauty, and I was like, wow, I don't remember any of this. Isn't that funny? That's
interesting, because any major city, you're gonna find that, but it's totally what you've been exposed to, and the media doesn't want to focus on the happy stuff.
Oh, no, it doesn't sell.
No, it does not sell. So I have to ask, I'm a first responder myself. I'm a firefighter.
Good for you. That's amazing. You go, girl.
Thank you. But I find it very interesting that your parents were both police officers. Did they meet on the job, or did they?
They did.
Oh, very well, nowadays it's like totally commonplace, because I think there's as many police male officers as there are female, whereas like the fire department is like 3% female in all of North America, which, we're getting there. We're trying.
Yeah. Oh, no. Like, when my parents met, it was like the super early 90s. And like you said, like back then, there was like no women. None. No. And my mom faced crazy amounts of, sexism and stuff. And they made it pretty clear, like, it wasn't her place to be there, which I sure hope you're not running into anything like that.
That would be a whole other podcast. I'll put it this way. No matter what, if you're a lawyer or you're a doctor, any job that is historically male, you're always going to have, it's not even an ageist thing, but you're going to have men that make you feel less than. And it's usually because it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Because if they don't like women, and you're a woman that can do the same job as them, that makes them feel masculine, then they're going to take it out on you. So
right.
I've been on the job just over 6 years now, and it's a learning curve. It's a fast learning curve. I knew what I was getting into, but, being a wrestler and, going through a sport where, you're 20-1 kind of thing, the best fuck you I could come up with was being happy, having a laugh, and just enjoying the job and never letting them get to me.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But
sometimes that's the hardest part too.
It is. You go home, you scream into your pillow, you talk to your friends, you talk to your family, but you don't give them that satisfaction because they don't deserve it. And a lot of them are the older generations. I feel like the younger generations, people my age, your age, they're coming up through the system where they're educated in life and through like academia. So they know that men and women are essentially equal. And if anything else, we're a team. We work together to get the best product. But yeah, anyways, I don't want to make this about first responders and male and female, but I find it so interesting because having both your parents on that job, you were raised with, that's extremely, that there's probably a lot of tough love because your mom was probably filling this role to do her job, and it was probably, it can probably bled into her real life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they could never work on the same shift. Because if something unfortunate were to happen, there'd be 3 orphan kids left around, So a lot of the times, everyone always had to work a holiday. Yeah. So my dad would always cover for my mom so my mom could be with us. Like every home Christmas video that we have, it's like my dad's in like full-blown winter leather, because he was a motorcycle police officer.
Cool.
So he had the big leather boots and the jacket, and he's just sitting there on the couch at like 5 a.m. and he worked like back-to-back midnight shifts, and he's like, yeah, open those presents, guys. Like, but that was just so normal. Like radio's always going off, and anytime there's bad weather or anytime, like especially right now, like Halloween time in the north, Devil's Night is the day before Halloween. And it's every first responder's least favorite time because everyone goes out there and destroys people's property, vandalizes stuff, egg people's cars, houses, toilet paper. But in the north, that's so much more prevalent. That's one thing I learned being in the South, that Halloween is not taken as serious, I guess you should say, which to me is sad because I can see you, girl. Like, you love Halloween. I love Halloween. Halloween is the best time of year. It's always been that to me. And when I moved to the South, I was just like, man, it's just kind of like another day for everybody. And I was like, that sucks.
And it's the same going across the pond as well. Like, I lived in England for a little bit, and it is not a thing there. Like, it's slowly kind of catching on to American culture, but it really is like a Midwest, a Northern, like North American thing, really.
Right. I want to say anything to keep warm and just drink. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it hardcore because it's so cold out.
It's so true. It's so true. It's funny you say that about Devil's Night because I feel that way as a first responder on every full moon. I don't even care about Devil's Night. Like, I literally pick my schedule around full moons because people act crazy.
It's not the craziest thing. It's the craziest thing. Like, what?
It is. Now, did you ever consider being a police officer yourself?
No. I'm the youngest of 3 kids, and my parents said that out of the 3, I would be the worst one. Which is funny because me as a wrestler, I'm like really tough. I don't mind. I get punched to the face. I'm very tough, but I'm also that person, like, if I get in your face and scream at you, I'll probably be like crying as I do it.
So emotional.
So yeah, my parents are like, you are the last person to do it. And I growing up with parents as cops, and I worked in athletics my entire life and my college life, and I cuss like a sailor. So my parents are like, you probably not you.
Oh, that's so
None
funny.
of us did.
No way?
The three of us did not. Yeah. I thought maybe I could do like the FBI.
Oh,
Because
cool.
I thought no one would think I would be in the FBI. And I,
Right.
Miss Congeniality. And my mom was just like, they just push a lot of paper. You're going to be bored out of your mind. And I was like,
Oh, it's not like the movies?
yeah, just totally not like the
Different.
movies. I know. I was like, I can't walk out like, Miss Congeniality and hop on a plane and be. She's like, no, you're going to push a lot of papers, honey. I was like, ugh.
That sounds terrible.
I know. I was just like, who's going to think me? Like 5'3", blonde chick, FBI. And she's just like, you would hate your life. I'm like, ugh, I'll just go beat people up then instead. Okay.
That's a hard part about being a cop is not only does everybody hate you, but you have so much paperwork to do.
Oh my
so
God,
much.
insane. My mom always used to tell me, because they were in Detroit in the 90s, like full-blown like crack epidemic was happening. And they would run into all of these people naked, having episodes, or, my mom would straight up call an ambulance every time because she's like, I don't want to touch a naked guy.
Fair. And like,
Which I know is horrible, but she's like, it's like -12 out. This poor guy has no clothes on. And my mom's like, I'm just calling an ambulance.
yeah. And what can a police officer do at that point? They need medical attention. And like,
Yep.
that would be just putting your mother in a precarious position. Like, I think she did that is the right call, I think.
Honestly, the stories that they both ended up telling us when we obviously got a lot older, I was just like, how did you let us leave the house? Like, we were, we had a very strict upbringing, but then I was even like thinking of the stuff that we did, and I'm like, wow, like they told us stories that were like kind of out of like Saw, like the gory, crazy stuff that they've seen. I'm just like, wow. And then you just kind of, and my mom was like, the hardest part was coming home and then just seeing you kids like living a normal life. And I was just like, huh. I mean, I'm sure you see, car accidents and fires and coming home and, seeing your family. It's just I'm sure you, have nightmares about that. So, that's, people don't even think about that kind of stuff, the emotional toll that takes on anybody who sees that kind of things and the normal person does not see in everyday life.
No, and it sticks with you. It does. Anyone that says that they're unaffected or they're really tough, it's not the truth, or they just maybe it hasn't boiled to the surface yet.
Right.
But like there's ways to deal with it. Like for me, I'm pretty empathic, and I feel really like spiritually connected to people in their homes. Right. So my biggest thing is like trying to put a shield up to like protect myself. But you really can't, especially when you watch people die or they die in your arms. And, you got to put it, I always put it in a place in my back of my head. I imagine like a treasure chest, and I put a big padlock on it, and I can access it anytime I want. And I'll go home and I'll, have a little cry or light a candle, and that's how I try to deal with it. And then, one day in therapy, I'll just break down and have a big cry, and I don't know why I'm so sad, but it's trauma. It's you're not supposed to see these things, let alone multiple times a shift or a week. And it definitely creeps up on you. And I think like, one of the reasons I do this podcast is I really want to talk about mental health and destigmatizing it, that it's a dirty word because we're all affected and in different ways. And we all need help, whether it's reading or just being able to talk about it or going to therapy. And therapy is great. Everybody should go to therapy.
That's right. Honestly, I think majority of having girlfriends is just sometimes it feels like the blind leading the blind, but at least you just get it all out there. You're like, girl, listen to this.
And it's just saying it. You don't even really need anyone to give you advice. Just hearing things out loud really changes perspectives. So
you just release, like it just, the weight falls off of you just by talking about something.
So why wrestling?
Oh my gosh, it literally is the earliest childhood recollection I have in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I can't tell you what the first match was I saw. It's just been in my life my entire life. I definitely had an older brother who watched it, so obviously I probably just joined in at one moment, but it's been my all-time favorite thing since I was 4 years old.
Okay.
And, the middle of the Monday Night Wars, and it just never went. My parents, it's a phase. And then the whole life later, it's like my first love. It really is. I fell in love. And it's funny because growing up in Detroit, I was obsessed with WCW.
Of course.
So, and then we moved to Atlanta when I was 6 years old, and that was where it was. So I just even got 10 times more excited, and I was just obsessed. It was like my escape, essentially. I don't think many people escape to watch people beat people up, but it was 110% just my escape. And I didn't even really pay attention to the women even remotely on the show. I was only drawn to like the big hot angles, honestly. You know, watching Goldberg beat up the NWO and Sting propel down from the rafters. I mean, it was just, I was glued to the TV. And of course, I'd always get sent to bed. And my grandpa would like record stuff so I could like rewatch it and send me like VHS tapes and stuff. And yeah, I was hooked instantly. And I couldn't even tell you my first match was when, you know, Hogan beat, you know, this person. I can't, because it's so ingrained in my memory. I've always watched it.
I was going to say, you know, 6 years old you're talking about. Like most of us are watching like Care Bears, and you were about wrestling, so you're really a full life fan.
Yeah, 110%. Like I remember watching Bill Goldberg in the Georgia Dome beat Hulk Hogan for the belt. And the crazy thing is like, I remember the first time going to the Georgia Dome for a cheerleading competition. Yeah. And we were like standing on the 50-yard line, like waiting to go out to compete. My first thought was not, I'm going to go and compete in front of thousands of people. My first thought was like, this is where they put the ring. Like, oh my God. That, you know, all these years later, that's still what I think in the back of my mind. Like, the ring was right here and everyone was standing all around. And, you know,
you were probably the only cheerleader that was like, I love wrestling. This is where Goldberg was. Literally
came to high school with like Jeff Hardy shirts on and John Cena shirts on, and I was the captain of the cheerleading squad. And everyone's like, my mom's just like, that just looks so weird, but it was me. And you know, my phase, never left. It was just what I loved my whole life.
I like it. So you're a true misfit. You live the American dream. Head cheerleader. Yeah. You were doing athletics. You went to college or university. Was it for fitness as well, like kinesiology?
I did. I wish. Looking back now, I wish, but I had a very successful college career. I went to school for sports broadcasting.
Oh, good for you.
And I got to be the first ever sports broadcaster female for our Division I hockey team.
Get out.
So my dad was a hockey player growing up. He did like minor leagues and stuff before he became a cop. And so hockey was pretty relevant in our family, you know, growing up in Detroit, it's hockey town. Yep. I can't say that to people in Canada. They'd be
no.
But, you know, we're
very
6.
similar. I get it.
Yeah, hockey town, you know, I always loved it. And I really wanted to go super far away when I left for college, because everyone just stays, like everybody, like just chills in that area. And I was like, I'm leaving.
Good for you.
And I just loved sports so much, and I knew I wanted to get into sports, and I knew cheerleading wasn't going to get me to that level, because it just, like, there's a plateau.
Okay.
If you're not the tiny little girl that they throw up in the air, college cheerleading, you just have to be the best, like, Olympic level, and that was not me, so I was like, I'm going to this is it for me right here.
Good for you for being able to identify that, though, and not having an ego about it.
Yeah, I knew. Well, I knew. Especially in the South, cheerleading is, like, so competitive. Right. I mean, you know, saying this now seems horrible, but it's just the way of life down there. Like, I had a tanning bed package at the age of 12 years old.
Holy shit.
Like, I have naturally super curly, like, I have a lion's mane.
Wow.
I've always straightened my hair since that age, because that kind of curly hair is not in. Like, you have to do the barrel rod curls, you know, and all that stuff. So, like, getting used to that culture, I guess you could say, like, is, like, ingrained in you a little bit. So when I went up to the North for college, I was like, okay, I'm literally kind of, like, shelving that life I had.
Yep.
And I'm really wanting to, because I thought, okay, I'm going to pursue it, and I'm going to be really serious about it. And I just met all the right people at the right time. And I did so much research and watched so much hockey growing up that I wanted to say, if I wanted to do this, I was going to know everything about it.
Right.
Like, people aren't going to question why I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I did just kind of like interning and like a go for this, go for that. I was that person.
Yep.
And it led up to me being a game day producer for our Division II football team.
Wow.
Which is, if people don't know what that is, it's in charge of all the game day functions. So I'm in charge of the video board, the PA announcer, the band, the mascot, the cheerleading team, the dance team, the opposite team, and when everything goes. So I have like a script like this big, and I'm on a radio with athletic directors, assistants, and stuff like that. And I'm essentially everyone's mom. Go, stop, do this, don't go, this, play this.
Wow.
And I was really, really honored at the fact, because when you tell people, oh, I worked for a Division II football team, people are like, whatever. Our Division II football team was incredible. I went to a place called Ferris State University.
Okay.
It's about 3 hours north of Chicago.
Okay.
So right there on Lake Michigan.
Yep.
And our quarterback, he got the Highland Hill Trophy 2 years in a row, which is equivalent to the Heisman.
Wow.
And then he ended up breaking the all-time rushing records during one of our games. And the minute it happened, we had to stop the game. We had ESPN calling us, Sports Center, you name it. Because he, it's not Cam Newton, it's not Tim Tebow, it was our quarterback.
Wow.
So we just had the craziest amount of, you name it, every major network around Michigan, Big Ten. Even though we weren't in the Big Ten, we were Division II.
Yeah.
But everyone wanted to see that kind of record be broken. So I was really lucky to be, and a couple of those guys that I've got to interview, I did the Aaron Andrews thing with them too, went down on the field, and which is way less glamorous at Division II college, like we were in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, with like 5 jackets on and a hat, and then you keep the microphone in like a newspaper bag so it doesn't get wet, and then you're on like a little headphone set that has like a 10 to 15 second live delay from the live feed. So I'm like, wow, I hope I don't talk about something they literally just talked about. And then you just go and interview the coach or a player, and so it's definitely not that level at that level. When you see in the NFL, they're reading off the teleprompter,
right.
They got the tent over them, no weather's really affecting them for the most part. They have like a whole thing of notes. And then, me, I'm like looking up at like a little tiny press box, and they'll wave like a little colored piece of paper. I'm like, okay, I'm live, and throw hats off. And it's a very different life.
You say you're lucky, but girl, all I hear is that you were tenacious and you worked hard and you ran shit. Like that is an incredible story.
Yeah, I loved it. Anything I put my mind to, I just want to say I am going to be here because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's not, especially when you like the sports world. I mean, and that bleeds right into professional wrestling as well. When I started doing the broadcasting for hockey, which wasn't play-by-play, I did not want to do that. I did not want to jumble up Russian last names and last names of 16 syllables. And I just wanted to go in and talk to everybody and more have the conversational part of it. So I did all the press conferences and the, in between the period interviews. And I wanted to be Pierre McGuire for everyone who knows who that is. I wanted to be in the boards. Everyone hates him, but I wanted to take over his spot. That was my goal. So cool. But I did run into a lot of positive and negative doing that. A lot of doubt. Because, when you walk into... Because we, at hockey, we were Division I, so we'd have all the big teams like University of Wisconsin, Michigan State, Ohio State.
Right.
And when this little girl, comes bopping in, And I wore 6-inch high heels. I always, dressed really nice. I wanted to look like what I would if I worked on TV. I always think, you get one chance to make a first impression. And I always wanted to, represent my university at the best of my ability. And, I ran into all that stuff, oh, who's your dad? My dad's a cop. Why? He lives in Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, or, who are you married to? Oh, I go to school here. But I always had, I always had the smart ass remarks in line, and, sitting there and watching guys come out in hand towels, and you're just like, oh, whatever, keep going. I don't care. I've seen it, let's go. Come on, keep it going,
Not
just
pressed.
Yeah. So you run into a lot of that, but I mean, at the end of my, my career at my school, I was very proud. There were so many women wanting to join the athletic department. And honestly, I have to say, though, it was really, just like any career, meeting the right people at the right time.
For sure.
I mean, because I'm sure there was plenty of guys on that university campus that probably knew 10 times more about hockey than I did. I mean, granted, I felt like I really knew my stuff.
Yep.
But I'm sure there's guys who played their whole life and wanted to get into it. But I really did meet the right people, and, I had to get approved from the head coach, who'd been the head coach for 25 years. I had to get approved by both athletic directors, and one guy was not a fan of women at all. It was very clear. But yeah, so I just felt like, you know, when I would talk and people go, wow, you really know what you're talking about, I would go, it's my job to know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm here. And it made me proud to have people that played their whole life be shocked by my knowledge, but at the same time, it is my job to know what I was talking about.
But that personality and that frame of mind, that is going to get you wherever you want to go in life. It is, you don't have to smile when you're around men to please them. You don't have to pretend to act like anything you're not. You know your shit, and you just keep rolling with it. Like, you are light years beyond your age and your generation, and I hope you just keep plugging away, because big things are going to happen for you.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. My goal is always just prove people wrong. I mean, like I said, I wore 6-inch high heels and standing on a hockey ice rink, and like the guys that were in our television truck were always like, you know, we have a bet every year, like when you're going to eat shit. And I was like, okay, how much is the bet? Because I want like 4.5 years of you guys paying me whatever I didn't get, because I had never fell, tripped, you know,
that a girl
slipped, nothing, you know, like, not saying, hey, everyone go walk on ice in high heels, because it's not easy. But I just wanted to say, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to look good doing it, and I'm going to do it well. So that's why, you know, and I, you know, tried to bleed all of that into being the best professional wrestler I can be, because that, at the end of the day, I want to be the best. I want people, like, I love, Scott Hall said a line that I love it. It goes, you know, do you want to have dinner with me, or do you want to be in the ring with me? And I just love that line, because I want to be that person. You don't have to be my best friend, and we don't have to be best friends, but I want you to want to be in that ring with me. And like, that to me is just the best. I want to take everything that's culminated into my, you know, my life so far, and just throw it into my wrestling ability and character and career. Honestly, I think of being a wrestler as 100% a job. It is. And I feel like a lot of people, especially in the indie scene at the moment, they don't see it like that at all. And it kind of, like, I think the word professional comes in front of wrestler for a reason. And a lot of people, like, take this and they go, we don't need this, and just, like, throw it in the trash. And to me, that kind of, like, irks the shit out of me.
Girl, it is a business. So you should always look the business. You should always present why you belong to be there. You can train a monkey to wrestle. Really. Like, the actual sport part is, like, you know, 10%. Like, you've got to be athletic, or you've got to have a gimmick. But all the rest is business connections, is talking, is being personable and likable. And, you know, it's being a professional. And that is just as integral, if not more, than the actual wrestling aspect of it. So you've got the right recipe brewing.
You know, when I first started to do it, I was like, I had to test to see if I could do it first, because it was still in this awkward time where it was more about the bikini contests. And that's why it never crossed my mind I loved it. And I just thought, I don't look like that. So clearly that's not going to happen for me. And like, I remember talking about it to my mom, because she's like, why don't you just try to do it? And I like showed her like the pictures of like the Total Diva search and like that they just submitted photos of them in like bathing suits and lingerie. And I was like, you know, 17 at the time. And I'm like, this is like how you get on the show, Mom. And she's just like, oh. So it's not about like beating people up. I was like, no, it's not. So it was really hard for me to, I don't know, like, I guess dive into it, because I loved it so much. And I almost was afraid that it was going to like, what I love so much was going to like break my heart, because it was like, it seemed so unobtainable from like that, when that young age. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm not going to make it onto a diva search. I'm like,
I'm glad you didn't.
You know, I live in reality. That wasn't the right time. Yeah, you know, I have a square-shaped body. I have, like, a SpongeBob SquarePants shape to my physique. So I was, like, definitely, like, no torso, you know? I was like, I'm not getting that through here's a bikini. Like, even today, like, I'm not a bikini person. I'm not going to the beach and doing all these photo shoots. And, you know, girls I know have OnlyFans, and you could go and do that stuff all day long. But that's just not me. It's not me as a person.
That's the beautiful thing about professional wrestling now, especially now. And the reason I came back is we are out of the Divas era. Don't get me wrong. There's always a place for that in entertainment.
Right.
But now women are characters. They're different shapes and sizes, ethnicities, ages. It's a beautiful time right now in women's wrestling. So what is your ultimate goal? Is it to make wrestling your career? Do you have your eye on a company? What's your ultimate goal?
I would love for it to be 100% my full-blown career, can pay all my bills, have a contract. I honestly, I just want to be so well-rounded. I want to see the world through wrestling. Not just like, oh, I want to go to Greece with my girlfriend. No, I want to, like my big goal right now, like it's in the back of my mind, like 24/7 at the moment. I want to go to Europe and wrestle. I want to go to Germany. I would love to go to the UK, Japan. Yes, obviously everyone wants to do the TV and everyone wants the contract and everyone, but to me, I just want to learn. I want to be the best I can be. And I love watching certain cultures, how serious they take it. And they put like, you know, it's still entertainment, but they kind of put that on the back burner and really want you to just be so good at what you do.
Yeah.
And I want to be that person. I want to be that person that like, no matter what, I'm just like, I can, what do you want to do today? You want to do some lucha? You want to do some this and that? You know, I want to be just, I can pull out all my, you know.
And traveling is the best education you can do for yourself as a person and as a wrestler. Like you are obviously very grounded and very hardworking. However, when you go to a country where very few people speak the language and you have to learn how to put matches together.
Yes.
Every wrestler has to do it to reach that next level. And you can always tell the wrestlers who did some time in Mexico and Japan. You really can. And it doesn't mean that they're better than, but there's just a certain element of like fluidity and the ability to just kind of go with the flow. So I support that. I think that's the next best movement for you because you've already, you know, developed a little bit on the independence in North America. Girl, go travel. Like COVID is, you know, it's going to be what it is. But if you can travel, go do it. And that makes a name for you. People know when you've traveled, and that means something to television promotions, and it makes you, you know, more of a commodity.
Absolutely. And I think that kind of in the era that we're developing in wrestling right now with more companies having television or having a YouTube or having just more accessibility, like people can watch them. You can watch me here, you can watch me there. Yeah. I think that old school like territory style of wrestling is just like dead.
It is.
And I feel like that's how you learn what wrestling is, like getting to go places where, okay, maybe you don't get seen as much, but you learn 10 times more.
For sure.
And like, that's what I want. Like, being in Florida, I am lucky that I have worked with a few people from Mexico, from Chile, from Puerto Rico, and their English was very spotty. So it, like you said, it was a lot of like just following people's leads, a lot of reading body language, kind of like thumbs up, eye, you know, just making eye contact. You know, having a translator a little bit, like to put things together. But then like when they left, you're just kind of like, yeah, fun time, you know, just come on.
Totally.
And, but man, that's all I want to be. Just, that's what I want. I want to learn so much. And I feel like, you know, the glass ceiling's always there.
Yeah, girl.
And to get better, you have to wrestle women who are better than you. Yep. And I feel like so many opportunities now, so many women are getting signed or better contracts, and they're almost, hey, wait for me. Like, you want to be able to work with them and learn from them, but they're at a place where they're untouchable for certain people. For sure. So I feel like being able to go to these places and be able to talk to so many girls, not only, you know, listen to their stories and listen to what they've been through, but learn from them, because, you know, UK wrestling and World of Sport and the way they were taught and trained, it's so serious and very, you know, chain forward, but God, it looks like it hurts like, you just watch something, you're just like, I think they just died. Like, they all wear no knee pads, and I watch and I'm just like, rip, your knees. Oh my God. I don't know how you do it. I just watch it. I'm like, oh, my knee. But just watch it. I just want to get, like, when you watch it, it just motivates you so much more.
For sure.
And yeah, that's just traveling for, and I guess, you know, at the end of the day, no matter what, like, wrestling to me wasn't about like Total Divas or the reality shows. And to me, even if there was no TV and wrestling was like the territory days where you just worked Mid-South and then you went to, you know, world class or whatever, I would still be a wrestler. If there was no TV for wrestling, I would still be a wrestler because I've just loved it that much.
That's very cool. I don't think a lot of people would say that. So
yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap things up. I like to end every episode with my 10 tailor-made questions. So it's kind of like a speed round, but don't feel rushed in your answers, okay?
Okay.
Okay, what is one beauty product you cannot live without?
Does it have to be something I own or I go to use it all the time?
You pick your poison.
Okay, South Beach tanning spray tan.
Nice. Love it. And much healthier than tanning beds.
That's right. Yes.
What is your favorite exercise?
Kettlebell swings.
Your biggest pet peeve?
Egos.
What is your favorite band or artist?
Probably he's a R&B singer. His name's Somo.
Somo.
Yeah. It's definitely a very like early 2000s R&B kind of style.
Is that your happy sort of music? Is 90s R&B?
Yeah, very like windows down, kind of just driving.
Nice.
Like all the road tripping, because drive a lot to get to shows. So
yeah, that
chill kind of vibe is what I listen to a lot. Yeah,
I like it. Okay, do you have a secret vice like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
Oh my goodness.
And if not, that's okay. Not everyone has vices.
Okay. Huh. I'm sure I do, though. That's the thing.
That's okay. We can skip it.
I can't really think of one at the moment. I'm sure I'm very awkward, so I'm sure I do a lot of things.
Okay, we'll move on. What wrestler has the best entrance music?
Oh, man. That's so hard. There's so many. Okay.
Anything that comes to the top of your mind.
There's just so many. I'm like, okay. It's really, I can't believe this is the one I'm picking, but this, like, the minute it hits, it's such a mood. And he didn't get to use it for too long, but Scott Steiner's, when he came to Raw for the first time, he had, like, the sirens and, like, the holla if you hear me.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so freaking cool. It just was such a vibe.
Yeah, you knew who it was immediately. Yeah. Like, that entrance music, when you know within, like, the first second.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
and there's
the shit.
So many. I mean, like, I loved Goldberg growing up with the security and the fact that he took, like, legit stock music and made it some of the most popular. And then Stone Cold with the glass breaking and The Rock. Yep. I mean, there's honestly so many, but for some reason that one really popped in my head.
Okay. What is your drink of choice?
Cold brew coffee.
Nice. Yeah, you Florida girl. You got to have your caffeine. You're not going to be drinking hot coffee there.
It's pretty rare, yeah.
What has been your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Oh, yikes. I accidentally said the F word. I was like, what the fuck?
Girl.
And that one was I felt really bad. Like I said, I cuss all the time.
That is not bad.
But I was really embarrassed just because I felt like, you know, family-friendly show. Aww. Here's just, like, the bitchy blonde girl telling someone to go fuck themselves.
You're such a sweetheart. I don't know many wrestling shows where I don't hear an F-bomb.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot now, but this was probably about 4 years ago. I felt so bad. Oh. But that was, like, the most, like, horrifying one. Oh, I did have this is a real throwback. I had a Snap, like, outfit, like, where you just, like a one piece.
Yeah.
And, I like, as an idiot, because this is what girls do, because we're like, I don't care if I'm in pain, but I'm not gonna, like, expose myself. I, like, put, like, safety pins in that area to make sure it stayed clamped, and I, like, stabbed myself, so that one sucked. But my partner in the ring at that time helped me do it. So she kind of almost gave me like a full pelvic exam to help me make sure that my outfit was together. So she was real cool about it.
No safety pins in wrestling.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
That was very, very beginning of wrestling where I'm like, I don't know how people do this. I still don't know how people do stuff. Like way girls hide pantyhose on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Double-sided tape, honestly.
Oh my God. It's still the worst
tape.
with me.
Glue sticks and double-sided tape.
Like hot glue?
No. Like literal, like,
just
glue sticks that
glue
you use
sticks.
in school. Yeah. I was always a double-sided tape girl, but like that comes with its own set of issues. Like you're not going to skewer yourself, like, but you do wax areas. I waxed some of my nipple off once.
Oh, wow.
But no one saw it on TV. So it's
Right.
like, you know, you got to figure out what's more important.
I know, those are the mysteries. I sit there and look and I'm like, why can't I see anyone's pantyhose? And every, ringside photo, I'm just like, I look like I'm being cut in half. What the hell? Like, half these photos I get, I'm like, thanks so much for them, just burying them in the back, because I can't post this.
You'll get there. It's fine. We'll figure it out for you.
I know, it's all these things. Like, guys don't have to think about this stuff. They just spray some stuff and walk
And you know
out.
what? If a ball comes out, they're not really embarrassed.
No. How
Because
many
it's more
times have you
like,
seen how many
ooh.
wrestlers' butts when they go to
yeah.
hold the tights? And it's
Yeah.
just like, here you go.
And no
they never
one's
spray tan
excited.
their butt. They
No.
never spray tan their butt. It's always white. I'm just like,
It's like it glows in the dark.
yeah.
Okay. Finish
facts,
this
guys.
lyric.
Spray tan everything.
Yeah. Spray tan everything.
Everything.
Okay. Finish this lyric. Let me take you to a place nice and quiet. Ain't no one there to interrupt.
Oh my God, I think I failed.
I just wanna take it nice and slow. It's Usher.
Oh, crap.
It's also my bad singing that really throws people off.
Well, I should know this because I love that style of music.
I think I'm gonna start getting music like put over it because I feel like I really throw people off with not being able to hold on to a tune. But you did not fail. It's my bad singing.
No, girl, it's not. I'm just sitting there like...
Okay, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Oh, absolutely. So my Instagram is Marina25. I have a Facebook fan page, Marina Tucker. And then my Twitter is bookmarina25, and I will be very mean on there, so just everyone know.
Well,
and then if you're on my Instagram, you'll see my Disney-obsessed self
Perfect.
a lot.
Well, thank you again. It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a ton of fun. It was great to meet you, too. And hopefully
We will
in
cross
person one
paths.
day.
Yeah.
Absolutely.